Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Thanks again for joining in another AI in Action. This is really great. Thanks for joining in. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon for people joining in from all around the globe. And we're excited for today's session because AI browsers is something that we've been using at Flightbase, especially for pretty long time. And Achal here has transitioned through many AI browsers. So it's a lot of story, it's a lot of insights, it's a lot of learning that we can take from today's session. So pretty excited for that. But as the saying goes, we first start with the news. But before that, for those of you who's joining in for the first time and hasn't joined our WhatsApp community yet, where we do some active discussions over the recent trends of what's happening in AI, please do join in. This QR code is for that WhatsApp community and looking forward to seeing healthy discussions there. With that being said, let's move on. So today's AI news for the day. Not sure how many of them use Perplexity here, but over here we actively use Comet as a browser, and that makes us use Perplexity as well. And memory is something that ChatGPT had brought in, Gen soon Claude felt the complexity, so they brought that in as well. And right now we also have Perplexity, which has brought in short-term and long-term memories, which is something that everybody is talking about, talk of the town again. So do try using the chat and seeing if it works for you. With that being said, let's move to Claude. So Claude has always come with the complaint of how we hit the context limits mid conversation, and that's the reason why Claude claims that now intelligently it compacts earlier context automatically when you're nearing the limit. So I have not seen as much as a change, but maybe it's because I use Claude Code even more and it normally does the compacting much better there. But do let me know if it works for you in Claude.ai and if you're not hitting the context limits as fast. Next coming up is Gemini. So Gemini has come with millions and millions of use cases. So just Sundar Pichai decided that Gemini is no more going to be the laid back AI model. So he came up with so many new things. First things first, ChatGPT had brought the same thing, and with Nano Banana, Gemini had almost brought the same thing where you upload images and scribbles and it makes complete things out of it. It was basically an image out of it or a concept out of it. But right now, it's become even better. There's a lot more things that it can do. It can make a complete board game, a landing page, a diagram. It can do a lot of other things. And of course, Gemini 3's advanced multimodal reasoning by combining state-of-the-art reasoning has increased a lot. As you can see in the video, they've just basically put a prompt out there and you can see how they are completely analyzing the video, which is crazy. Video analysis in seconds. And the next but not the least, on search, on Google search, we now have Gemini's power coming in, and through that we can actually bring out the best of what we want to know from different news channels. So that's something great. Do check out and let us know how it works for you. With that being said, that's almost how much I can say for this week, but there's so much more news to come. There's so much more that's happening in the AI world. But let's quickly welcome Achal to get started and understand how his journey has been. Excited to have you here, Achal.
Great, Shruti. Thank you for the news. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. My name is Achal. I'm the Director of Business Development at Flightbase. Glad to conduct this session. So, without further ado, let me actually jump into the content. So, we're going to see a lot more demos today about how you can 10x your productivity with AI browsers. When they started coming in, I got really excited because we spend all the time today on AI browsers, or we spend time on browsers, and so far it has been mostly just using Google or websites, right? But now, how could we make these browsers, AI browser itself, our go-to workplace where we can work on anything and it can do the stuff for us? So I'll get started really quick. Let me share my screen. It should be up now. So I'll first show a few slides and then we'll start with the demo. So the topic today is to go through like how you can do your sales productivity, increase your sales productivity with agentic AI browsers, right? And you transfer workflow. So there are tons of things you can do. Most of the online tutorials are about just using those browser or maybe shopping or booking tickets. But when it comes to the B2B world, where most of us work and we work on deals, we work on emails, proposals, RFQs, RFPs, slides, how do we leverage these browsers? But first of all, what are the browsers and what are the challenges that we face as a sales professionals? So the study says that we spend 70 to 80% of the time on non-selling activities, which is like email management, research, proposal, contract. I was talking about it. Revenue impact. So manual task prevents focusing on customer facing activities, right? So we are less on calls. We are more doing that entire proposal or slides or emails, right? And that is where most of the time goes. Now, that is where AI solutions or agentic AI browser are transforming how we work, where we can understand a lot more about what's there on our web page. It could be email, it could be a new document that has come in. We can use an AI browser as a co-worker where it can do jobs in parallel while we are working on something else, and we can automate repetitive tasks where we can set up workflows. So today we are doing launching this series of 5 sessions, and this is the first session that we are doing where we'll be covering certain aspects, but we'll be going deeper into these aspects of how sales teams can use AI browsers. So what are AI browsers and which are those, right? So all of you who have used ChatGPT Perplexity, but there are four top contenders. There are more coming into the picture. So GenSpark was the first one to actually bring a browser. We'll talk about that. We'll not probably show a lot of demos here because it is a topic for another session. But Perplexity Comet is really good in terms of the agentic behaviors, and we'll see some demos really quick. Dia is phenomenal, Brian, the browser company where it can help you work with multiple tabs together. And ChatGPT Atlas, because of the memory feature and the inline editing, it just can get done a lot of stuff. So we're gonna look at all of these and do a lot of stuff. So what are we doing today? What are we covering today? So as a sales professional, we there are a lot of things that I do in a day, but my most of the time is going like first thing in the morning is identify emails that need my attention, right? How do I get there? Responding to complex emails with probably pricing objection negotiation. So I must have sent a proposal, and then there are objections and questions to those. Then sometimes it gets to a highly technical question where objections, or I'm in a stage where customer is asking a lot of integration questions or technical questions. I would have to then run to other technical people, get those answers. If the inbound leads come in, there is of course certain set of discovery. How do I do that? Plus a new feature came out and I know exactly these are the 15 accounts. I need to send them an email, right? How do I craft an email? How do I send that email? Now, today also you can use a non-AI browser and open ChatGPT, open Perplexity, everything, and work there, but it just hinders your workflow. Setting up projects every time, setting up, jumping to in multiple chats, then getting data from there, and then copy pasting. Then if you find something wrong, you then have to manually edit it. You cannot inline edit that. There are a lot of challenges there, so we're going to cover that really quick today. But just a heads up, this since this is the first session, the next 4 sessions would go even deeper into certain topics of how to make slides as per your branding and the customers. While there are certain number of slide tools available, but you cannot still create something in your branding, something which is customer facing. How do you create big proposals, 20-50 page proposals, RFPs, RFIs, review master service agreement, NDAs, contract documents, respond to cybersecurity questionnaires? So these are the stuff that we're going to cover in the next session. But let's jump to the this one and help you get started with how you can use agentic browsers. So first of all, I am currently in ChatGPT Atlas. This is how the home screen looked like. While this looks like a simple search bar, the best thing is it helps you first starts becoming an AI native. So say I have any query, it's already giving me certain things that I can search. It's already connected to my company knowledge. So it's connected to my Google Drive, it's connected to my Slack, it's connected to my HubSpot, and all of those connectors are done. That's pretty simple. You can just navigate and get that done. But let me start with first simple thing. Say I came first in the morning, and let me just use this itself as a prompt. And I come here and say, hey, identify all the emails that need my attention. It gives you an option to do either you want to Google or you want to do Chat GPT, and you start doing this. Now, what it would do it in parallel, it would start searching all my emails that have come that and needs my attention, and it's talking to my Gmail. Now, of course, you can open ChatGPT and do this, but that small friction is something where salespeople never do that. But once it becomes your primary browser, you can start doing this. So, very small example. It has already started giving me stuff, right? That hey, this is what is happening. This is where the NDA is needed. This is where, and this is all real data. So we would blur this out later, but just quickly sharing stuff. But let me jump to say email that required my attention. So I have this sample email right here where a customer has sent me questions on pricing structure next step. So this could be a multi-threaded email. For this example, I'm just using a single email, but you usually could get this kind of email on a long proposal or an RFP with a partner or a customer, where they said that hey, I looked at the update proposal, but before we move forward, multiple things, and I need clarification on the subscription costs, usage based entitlements. We may extend to 3 units today, but 10 to 15 within next 12 months. So the current code doesn't show any volume based discounts. Feature lock-in versus what we actually need, multiple things, and these kind of things that come into the picture. Say this has come from a customer to this. Now, if you're using AI today, you would have to then probably copy this, go to ChatGPT or Claude, paste in a chat, or if you have this customer project, if you're using projects that well and good, it's gonna help you here, but then you have to paste it there and get that done. But what if you in ChatGPT, if you are in the habit of creating projects, and you can see I have tons of projects right here, and I use projects as agents as well. I can be on this email and I can ask ChatGPT. Now, one is you can people normally know like new people just would use it to just respond to this email. But as a sales guy, you know that you cannot just ask AI to just respond to this. It requires a lot of context. It has a lot of things which require your product context. So what I would do in this kind of cases, I would actually go here and switch a chat, and I already have a project which has my product context as well as all the negotiation and strategy guides. And I will go here and select a project agent, and that would load up that chat. Or if I show you internally, it already has all that data and previous data of that chat. So for example, if I show you what's inside, so there are multiple chats, multiple negotiation, multiple answers I've given. I have also compacted a lot of stuff and have negotiation strategies. I've even taken negotiation strategies from popular sales folks in the industry where I've learned their podcasts and how to answer. Plus, I've also uploaded all my product context. Now, simply since I have this, now when I would say to this browser to actually respond to this email, my answer would be pretty precise. So I can actually say that, hey, this is the pricing objection, and the entire clarification requirements have come in based on the proposal that I had shared. Considering what we have done with other customers and which are standard for us, help me draft an email response to this customer email. So I gave this prompt here, and now since I have this project in structure, I don't have to juggle through a lot of stuff, and I could save lot of time instead of getting it there, because I might have answers, questions related to this multiple times, and I always use that kind of projects to get those answers. So it will, of course, it will think, it will go through those source files, and now it will create that entire email as per the things that I usually do. The best part is that ChatGPT has memory, right? So every time I send an email or I do something, I can ask ChatGPT to update its memory. So it remembers, and that is where these agentic AI browsers are going to be future, because you're spending all your time on browsers. So the more you work with that, it keeps learning stuff. Now you can see that if I would have asked a plain LLM, it may not have answered the question, but now it's taking my customer names, it's asking, it's giving me exact answers from, since we drone doc, or we sell the entire software, so it's giving me all those answers very correctly in terms of how things would work. We do support tiered pricing and how it applies, and all those answers are right here that I have received. Right, I can of course insert that directly and respond there, so I can copy paste or just select the text I want from here. If in one shot it's not there, if it has missed the context, I can even give more context right in here, and get that email much better properly done from here. And then of course right here I can just put it and send that email. Now, being part of Atlas, one more benefit when gets here, it actually becomes a canvas. So I don't know if you used ChatGPT Canvas before, but for example, I want to just edit this line. So I can go here and just give a prompt that say it was only adhesive sustained volume is significant higher than expected. I want to change it to something else where it had missed the context, or I want to say re- rephrase it and make it much more elaborate so the customer can understand it much better. uh, and I can just work on that particular line. Now, since Atlas is looking at the entire web page, it would be able to just grow, expand that particular line, and I can click on update, and that would get updated. So a lot of time goes on the email, and that's the reason I'm showing this first demo where you can actually get this done. So let me switch to another example. I have now an email which talks about request for technical discussion, right? Where they're talking about integration, and they've sent again another email where they are talking about a workflow support. They need some telemetry streams in video management system plugin. They need a deployment architecture. Uh, and so they are asking for a workflow and architecture and the next steps here. Now, whenever this comes, you'll probably run to a solution engineer. If you're a senior person, you'd be able to probably answer that, but it'll still take you time. There are multiple sources where you have to probably get that information. You would have to get, probably make some workflow diagrams and so on. But now again, since I have created projects and agents in ChatGPT, I have a similar project for flight based tech FAQs and modules, which has files, which has agents and so on. So I can actually now call that project right here. So I was on this tab. So instead of doing this, I go right here in switch chat, and I say, okay, let me use this. And right now it does not have a chat. Now it appears. So let me, oh, sorry, let me choose the right chat there. So this is my agent chat, and now I can follow the same process where I can ask it to, hey, customer is asking me detailed technical questions, and I need to provide the comprehensive response with workflow diagrams. Help me draft a response for this email. So now, since it has all my files, it has previous chats, previous kind of discussions that I've done, and I'll keep using this project for certain kind of emails, it would now work and create the entire draft for the for this specific email that I've got. I might have to review it again, probably tweak it. I would realize that okay, some context is still missing, but just imagine that it has done the first 80-90% time, and it can also give me the diagrams right here, right? You could see that they had asked for an architecture or how the data flow or components flow. It's giving me all of that right here uh, quickly, where I can respond with this email really fast. So it's still doing its job and creating these diagrams and workflow diagrams. Of course, it's not that beautified, but you know that when these kind of emails and sales, it's very important to respond very quickly. And this are legible. This makes sense of in terms of what customer is asking, and you are able to get that answers really quickly to them. So uh, I can again, unfortunately, it does not have an insert option. I'll show you Dia, which has a direct insert option. ChatGPT Atlas still has a copy paste, where you'd have to copy paste all of this. But you could see that a complex email like this has been answered with diagrams and details. Of course, I can tweak it a certain way to avoid these emojis and everything. I should have prompted it the right way, but it could create this, and I can also ask it to save into the memory. So email, these kind of emails take a lot of time, and this is where you can actually get things done really fast if you know how to use ChatGPT project. And once you move to agentic browsers, you can do all of this. Most of the time now, when something comes up, instead of searching documents, since it's connected to all the doc and email, I can ask things here, and it would get me those things right on the chat box here. So do try Atlas, and you'll understand that better. So we did this, we answered technical question. Let me see if I can get a discovery questions to an inbound lead. So we generally get an inbound lead. Let me see if I can find inbound lead here. Say I've got an inbound lead here, and they're asking something. Now this inbound lead itself is in a different language. It has come from Colombia, and they're asking for something. Now, of course, for sales rep, it's important to respond to them. I converted it to English. Browser converts it really quickly. So they're looking for a public safety solution. Now, the here part is that you need to respond. Either you would use a boilerplate, so people then use like templates and stuff like this right here. But now with AI, you can do a very much better job in a very appropriate response, and even ask the right question before jumping on the call. So I'll follow the same step. I'll go to a new chat. I'll say switch chat, and in this case, I should have a project for discovery. Let me just quickly see. It's not appearing here. This probably was the other one, but yeah, I think it. Let me just check. So similarly, you can have that project for discovery where you can have your medic or spin or anything. I had a medic project, but looks like it was in another account and it's not right here. But actually, I can quickly show a brief demo. You create a brief AI agent which follows medic sales framework and asks right questions to the inbound emails. Now I'm just doing it on the flow, but usually I would upload a lot of product context and all the files and so on, and create that agent and groom it and make sure it answers. I have it in another one, and it's creating that kind of a chat for me. And once you have done that, I can move this to a project and upload the right product context. The similarly I showed you other example, we'd be able to get that right here once that chat is done, and it would be able to answer that the same way we did for other uh, queries. So that project or the chat would come in here, and I can actually now start doing that stuff and say, hey, look at this email and respond with our product context, and also ask discovery questions as per our sales framework, and it will answer this. So of course it's not going to give right answer, right email right now, but because I have not uploaded the product context and everything, which I had done in the other two ones, but I am just helping you understand the process of how things work and how you can leverage Agentic browser to be efficient in email. This is again scratching the surface. There's so much that could be done with this. In certain scenarios, the next one use case was, since I'm working with a lot of team members, I get things to review, right? So there is a document that I need to review. Then I realize that something is missing in that document. So that is where I love Dia as a browser. Dia is a browser which allows you to chat with multiple tabs. It has tons of other things as well. It has skills where you can create skills. It can work in different formats. It has different tools. It also has memory and so on. But the most important feature that I love of Dia is chatting with multiple tabs. So say I got this document, which is a big proposal. Yeah, it also has the same side window here, and I got this entire proposal and I need to review it. So I could have a skill in Dia to review it based on what are the stuff that I look, or of course I can summarize and stuff like that. But the most important is when it is reviewed, I realize that my teammate has created a proposal and they have included an AI feature. But just yesterday, we have a new AI feature that has come in, and I know that that feature has been released on our release page. Plus, this feature has to work. This proposal is for public safety and security, so it needs to be with our flight based security and public safety uh, content. So my website is of course always updated. So actually I can go to my flight based website and open the context of how my solution is used in security. Now the good part is I can go with here, and since it's the real-time surveillance and data capture and I have the new AI feature, I actually ask Dia that look at these tabs. So I can say, hey, AI spot check, and I can go to, also I have a drone security, and I also have this document in the entire context right here. So I am creating dynamic context right here, right? So it's like a quick project that you typically create in ChatGPT. You are doing it here. I'll do it right away right here and say, hey, this is the new feature which has come in. Based on the document that I'm making, I want to write a small snippet of this AI spot check feature for security surveillance. Look at all the sources that I have tagged here and help me write a 100-page description for this feature. So now it will look at that immediate attachments here and write that mod feature which I can include that. And similarly, I can go on and on. I can rephrase something, say I don't like this, I can select and rephrase and do all of that stuff with the tagging. So this is how you can use these agentic browsers. We are up on time. There was one more demo of sending automated emails, but probably we would cover that in the next session since we are up on time. But finally, I have done this. I can just go here, look at this, and put insert, and the entire feature has been written over here and comes to this page. And then of course right now it doesn't take images, so I probably have to go here, and if I want to embed a video or an image, I can just copy paste, and that's a manual work you still have to do. So that's a brief. We'll be talking about more about Agentic browser. One of the demos that I had is to use Agentic way. We have not used the computer use or browser use stuff in this session today, where the cursor of course moves and gets all that job done, which was the part of sending automated 15 emails about a new feature. But we would cover that in the next session since we are up on time. So with this, I would end this, and yeah, let me know if anybody has any questions. They can unmute themselves and ask something, we can spend maybe next 5 minutes or so. Anybody who has time and wants to ask questions, or you can type it into the chat box. Yeah,
Yes,
Suhas, please.
Suhas, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is simple. There are so many agentic browsers. Okay, so which one is good for what purpose? If you can give a crisp one-line answer,
Right.
that will help me to get a perspective whether you really do 10x or you do 1x, 2x, or 1000x.
Right. Right. So there are so many tasks that we do. I would give you maybe the examples that I had is for where is ChatGPT Atlas good, the Dia is good, and Perplexity Comet is good. So if I talk about just sales part of it, if I need to respond to very complex emails that requires me projects, and that is where complex emails take lot of time. It'll probably take me like whatever I did that, right? If you need to respond to them, it'll probably take you half an hour, 1 hour or lot to respond properly and even come up with the first draft. In certain cases, somebody else is writing it and they have to get it reviewed, so it just takes like a day to get even respond to that complex email. So you're saving a day and getting that done in just few minute or a minute or two to get to that stage. And if you are senior enough to understand, it's just very fast for you. Then if you go to these big documents where you need to edit it with multiple context sources, Dia would get you to the 10x that I'm talking about. Because otherwise, if you just use a plain chat of an LLM and keep writing a document and then something needs to be changed, context management there, and it's like a super power, right? So chaining it properly that it doesn't affect anything else becomes very difficult. Third thing where in again in sales where Perplexity Comet where we have found value is, say I want to send 15 emails to, where I want to quickly search online and send 15 emails and use browser use where it can click and send emails. That is the demo that we were going to show in the next session. That is where the browser use is really fast. ChatGPT's Atlas is right now really slow in terms of clicking buttons, but but the Perplexity Comet is really good in if you just give it a particular task. So the today what I had is I had a list of email and I had a particular blog where I wanted to send this feature related update to all these 15 people. It would automatically write, automatically click buttons, send those emails there. And you can even take a previous step where it can create the list for you depending upon your persona as well. So that is something we'll cover in the next sessions. So these are the top three use cases that I see: big emails, big documents, and agentic behavior. So that is where these three come into the picture.
Yeah, this is. Thank you for that long answer. But I don't want to break my head. Which tool is good? I just want to talk to a travel agent. I want to go from destination A to B. Okay, and this is my criteria. Now you go figure out whether to use agentic browser A, B, C, D, or something which is just come up there. So
So
what is the way
Perplexity
to?
Comet would be better for that. But the thing is, Suhas, things are changing that fast that while I'm giving this answer, the next half an hour that answer could change because Claude would release something tonight and that answer would change. So the only way to be on top of this is the reason if you see my if you notice my bar of browser, I have all the browsers, right? There was a time where you would only see probably Safari or Chrome, but I keep jumping between those because those are my co-workers, and I jump that and then I realize, oh, this has gotten better, right? I have not even touched GenSpark today. So if you are just doing a very B2C kind of work, like a personal work, yes, for that Comet is right now really good. But if you want to actually use it for like great productivity, you would have to keep experimenting with all of them because something is better in something and something is not.
Hmm, okay.
So, hi Sanjay, I also typed my question there. I mean, you showed a lot of confidential data privacy constructs, that can be violated because of the data being trained, etc., etc. So can you just elaborate on, how are you using it? I mean, is it not, kind of impacting the data privacy? You had proposals, you had maybe commercials, you had the product information.
So one is we use only paid accounts, right? And paid accounts in automatically turns off the way where it does not share that data. So all those parameters and privacy controls are there in the paid account. It's in some, it's also on free, but you'd have to go and turn that off in the free accounts as well. So in ChatGPT Atlas, we are in the enterprise accounts, and that's where you get that company knowledge part as well, which we'll probably cover in next series there. So using credible companies and making sure the privacy settings are correct is very important, and that's the 101 that you have to do today.
Okay, so maybe, of course, some of us may not be enterprise.
Right.
So if you can just help us somewhere to put this guidance in, because for individual users, this is one of the, or professionals, this is the most important concern. And the
Right.
clients also don't want to adopt it because of the data privacy issue.
Right. So see, you can, in terms of, there are of course brand reputations, right? And who is talking about more security? So Claude is of course considered a lot more secure in terms of what they're doing. Perplexity has all that security measures. ChatGPT is there, and Dia is a startup. So based on different levels of stuff, you can choose this. So I would say stick with ChatGPT, or if you are already in using Google Workspace, right? All your data is in Google. Gemini 3 is phenomenal. Of course, we don't get time to touch upon that, but you can do this. Yeah, Chrome has not released this agentic behavior to every users. They have announced it. It's still coming. But if you use Google Workspace, you can stick to that. And sooner or later, even Microsoft Copilot would have all of this. So if it's so sensitive, I am sure you would be using something like Outlook or a Gmail provider, and you could stuck with that provider itself, even jumping here and there. If not, go to ChatGPT, go to privacy, turn on all of this that don't turn that data, or use Claude, and Claude has also similar features.
Thanks, Achal.
So we have a perplexity, I think, that has come free for Airtel, right?
Yes.
So if we use it, I think, can we enable the security, whatever you're saying about?
I'm using the same one. I don't remember exactly where are those things. I particularly remember where are the things in there, but we can quickly do that. So when you go to their settings, you'll probably see the preferences, and there is a tab where you see AI data retention. So you would have to turn that off, and it's there. And I'm using also the Airtel Perplexity right now. Since I use Perplexity, I don't use it for much of the task. But there is a, if you go to preferences in the settings, there is a mode where you need to turn off your AI data retention.
Okay, thank you.
And keeping the memory switch, the memory is also to be switched off, right?
Yes, memory. So memory good part is you have always control on the memory, right? So it does not automatically saves. You have to tell it to store that in the memory in most of the time, and then you can go and delete certain memories as well. Or you can, if you do not want it, you completely switch off. But then you are losing a value prop, right? The whole value prop is the, with these living softwares, we call it living software. All the software that we've been using is static, that require human to kind of work on that aspect. But with these softwares, they learn from you, and you can still use it. Actually, one more thing that I can talk about is GenSpark has a local browser with local AI. So if you go to GenSpark, G and Spark, Shruti can probably drop that link. They have a browser and they have an AI which can run locally on your laptop as well. So we would probably conduct those sessions sometimes if data security is one of the concerns. Shruti can take a note, and uh, she can even conduct sessions on this kind of a topic.
Yeah, because chartered accountants,
Yeah.
financial health,
Right.
doctors, most of them you need to have the GDPR or HIPAA and other things to be done.
Right.
And data privacy is definitely a big issue around there, Arjun.
Right, right.
We
Absolutely.
cover it sometime somewhere because okay, the settings part we understand, but then local part also I'll try the local part uh, and try to kind of check this. But since you already are in the business of doing business through AI, I think it'll be important for you to propagate this part of the information because data privacy is definitely a big concern.
Right, right, absolutely. For this, if when you get to those kind of sensitive stuff, then these AI browsers, so GenSpark AI browser has a on-device free AI that is available, which uses your local device, and you can read about this in more on the web page and explore that. And GenSpark is also phenomenal. They are entirely making it like a vibe working kind of product. They have multiple things there, so you can look at this as well.
Answer, sorry, just extension. Maybe there are other people to ask the question, but in case of JetSpark, for example, can I then also connect it to a local LLM like Olama or something to do some automation?
I would have to check. I don't remember. I'm
Okay.
not using it right now, but it does have models.
Is it?
Sorry.
No, no, it's just an error. Please go ahead.
Yeah. No, I would have to check. I think has native integration with LLMs. Tanush is saying that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good to try out.
Next session will give an update on WhatsApp. Every Thursday, 7:30, we have these kind of sessions. Uh, and the whole idea that I shared, right, that things are moving so fast that you cannot be stuck with one thing. Uh, like 1 week, 2 week back, ChatGPT 5 was the leader, other was a leader, and now Gemini 3 has taken over. There's so much stuff that is happening with this. So the only way to be on top of this is be updated, and that's our initiative. This is not our core business, and that is our pay it forward kind of sessions that most of you probably would know. So you can block your 7:30 p.m. calendar every Thursday, and you'll see uh, one of us from the community come here and share what we're doing. We already have a calendar for next 4 Thursdays, so we're gonna cover the crafting proposals. We're going to cover the sorry, my phone is ringing. Just a second. Uh, presentations, creating presentations, diagnosing issues with RCA agents, and also some other stuff that all I shared on the slide deck. So yeah, tune into this, and this would definitely help you become much more AI native.
Thanks, Ajay. We're running out of time, and hence I'll be closing the session for today. But thanks everybody for joining in. Since Achal has already mentioned about the next few events, I'm looking forward to seeing you all over there. We have created proposals that's very customized to each customer, and our business development team will be out there to tell you more about it. And presentations based on your brand voice, a lot of tools out there, Gamma, Notebook, LLM, Gemini right now, but then let's see how Flightbase is able to do it. The last but not the least, you get a lot of customer issues. We have just brought all those customer issues into one database so that each time a customer service person gets onto the call, they know exactly what issue is it and how to solve for those issues. So that's all about it. There is more sessions coming up, like how Achal has mentioned, and all of these will be updated on our WhatsApp group. So for those of you who haven't been to our WhatsApp group and hasn't joined in, this is the QR. Do join in. Looking forward to seeing you all there and having active discussions with all of you. Thank you so much and have a great day. Thanks, Achal.